Hey, welcome back to a cornucopia of post-Thanksgiving. All right, I shouldn't have done it, and I'm sorry. It's Mason and Remy and the No Frequency podcast. Just a whole bunch of stuff coming up in this episode, including Are we alone? It's a big topic,
It's a
and
huge topic. Yeah.
I think I owe you an apology. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. In the meantime, Remy, how are you?
I'm doing better. I think I have recovered for the most part from the last podcast, which I think it was a couple days before I went to Denver and spent the first 3 days of Denver just sick, but still had to do stuff. So
Yeah.
it sucks. So that's fine. I think I coughed up all the mucus
Oh, great.
for years. So
always loved not only traveling, but traveling while sick.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course, everyone around you loves you bringing whatever you brought to the party. It's like a potluck of just people getting together. Good times. No, that's good. And once it passed, though, you got some stuff done. You had a good time, a good trip.
Yeah, I think so. We went to I already talked about this. We already went to the world's largest root beer bar. We talked about that in the last one. I'm still thinking about it. That's how amazing it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Those
Um,
episodes are so long. I'm still working my way through 'em. I'll catch up in holiday break.
Thanksgiving, good. Everything is still on sale. I know it's weird. I keep on seeing all these memes about how nothing is on sale. It's
Yeah,
exactly the price that
it
they
is.
want to sell the item at. And I'm like, I've been
Noticing.
saying this for years. You just say the high sense TV is $199, and you say it was once $800, but now it's not. And who's gonna fact check on that? So
Nobody is. They're just happy to see big flashy numbers and feel like they got a deal,
yeah,
right? Like, oh no way. I took advantage of that. And this is actually a topic I was going to ask you about as well. We'll just jump right into some stuff. How far are you on your Christmas shopping at this point? We're just a couple days, hell, like Thanksgiving, I'm still digesting. But as this comes out, we're into December. What's your progress on your holiday shopping? How
that
far
is
through it are you?
that's the wife's department. Not that I
Oh
wouldn't
my gosh.
participate, but
I'm so sorry.
I
I gotta no.
just don't know.
I gotta set the mood. Hold on.
Oh, okay, all right, there we go. Oh, there we go. Perfect.
All
Christmas.
right, my bad. I wanted to make sure that we're celebrating properly and we're in the spirit. So you said it's the wife's department, man.
Yeah.
Do you got that thing? Because my dad never had to do any Christmas shopping, man. And I feel like I am not following in those footsteps somehow.
Yeah, I think it just kind of just happened. I think as we had kids, and it's not that I'm not willing to help, but she's just so much more in tune
Sure.
with that. She's my mom's constantly asking for a new list from the kids. The kids list is always changing. All the relatives are requesting things, and so we do the Secret Santa thing on Lauren's side of the family. And now there are apps and websites that do this for you. So you enter everybody's name into a hat, an internet hat, and it randomizes whoever you get. But what's cool about this website that we use, I think it's called secretsantahelper.com or something like that. But you can create a wish list within this website. So much like an Amazon wish list, but it's just for your family or whoever's participating in this. So
Okay.
this year, the kids went through and selected all the things they want. Last year, as kind of a gag, but also a poke at how dumb this is. And I know that my in-laws listen to this, so sorry, but I just feel like adults exchanging $30 is weird. And okay, it's just like, here's your $30 item, here's my $30 item. So I spent $30 on the item that I wanted. So last year, I put garbage bags on my wish list so that I could get something that I would actually use for the household.
Mhm.
And I will tell you this, I received garbage bags
Uh-huh.
and they lasted from January until July. And it was the best Christmas present ever. So
That is possibly the most. Don't take this the wrong way. Hetero male thing to do because and I'm like I'm with you. I am an efficiency kind of guy. I've been thinking a lot about this lately and I'm like I want things I'm going to use. My wife and I this year are really exchanging gifts that we are going to use on our new house, right? Like uh, if she wants a coat, she's going to buy a coat. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But for Christmas, for I think we're buying each other things that we're going to use in the house or on the house or around the house. For me, it's probably things around the house. And for her, it might be things more in the house, right? Like, and these are things that we've talked about both wanting that are on our Amazon wish lists or
Yeah.
things we've said we want. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so it's gonna feel weird on Christmas morning when my wife opens an appliance, you know what I mean? But we're gonna look at each other and go, "Nice." And there I'm almost certain, like, Keaton's girlfriend's gonna go, "Sexist," you know? Because
Made mixer, sweet.
yeah, exactly. No, no, I definitely got an air fryer last year, and just my
Mm.
wife and I right this week, we're going, what an amazing gift. What a great purchase. We have used that thing more than almost any other Christmas gifts I can think of.
Yeah.
For years, I got her a little foot massager thing that you put water into and salts and stuff. Never got used, I never saw the light of day. But my parents had one when I was a kid and they loved it. And so I had this like, "Hey, you're gonna love this." Nope, never touched it. Loves a massage. Always asks me, "Will you rub my feet?" Like, "I'm not rubbing. I got this. How about this?" "No,
Here's a
not
touch.
the same?" "Okay." Um, so but do you know how far through your progress that first off, that's a great idea. The website for Secret
Yeah.
Santas and man,
And
um
think about the website though. Every single link. I mean, anything you think of. So this year I switched it up. I didn't do trash bags because I'm very into plants now. I actually put plants on the list because you can get plants in the mail. So I got plants on the list. I've got like self-watering pots and
oh, hell yeah.
worm castings and things like
Right. First, two things. We're gonna talk more about plants in this episode because
yeah.
I have questions and I literally need, I think, your expertise. And second, I have some worm castings in the garage. If you're in town next week, come through. I'll get you a bag to get you through. But no, I'm with you on that. That's so hilarious because I was literally talking to my wife too about some of this stuff, and we're looking at our monstera, and I was like, maybe I'll ask Remy during this next episode. It feels selfish,
Yeah.
but I
No,
but I have
good.
questions.
Uh,
Um, mhm.
so what I was gonna say is that every single one of these links has to be an affiliate link, right?
Yeah, they get a
So
percentage,
you think
right?
of all of these families who are using this service who are unknowingly, I mean, I'm sure it's listed somewhere, FTC, whatever affiliate links. But they're just like raking in all of these affiliate linked funds from
Yeah.
Amazon or wherever, because most of the things that you're looking at are just from Amazon. So, and then you can also add in a budget in there. So if your budget is $30, they won't show you anything above $30,
Brilliant,
which is
brilliant.
interesting too. So, uh,
Really, it's almost like someone created the iPhone case for Amazon, right? Like people
mhm,
are inventing items that go along with big items that people use. Like whoever it was that made the 70-foot long cord for an iPhone is raking in the cash. You know what I mean? Every time they make a new cord, every time they make a new phone, you got to make a whole new case and then you got to make a whole new,
yep,
adapter. And there's all these people who are making money off that. It feels like that somebody was like, how can I make money off of Amazon? And if you don't know about affiliate links and you're not like into the world of content creation and stuff, all these guys who create products, they're pushing you toward a link, they're ushering you toward a link, they get a bit of a finder's fee. In gaming, they have a creator code where they're like, I get a percentage of what you spend if you use my creator code. That's like a real thing. But for I think like you're saying, creators or this brilliant idea of taking like a Secret Santa, something that, by the way, is not like trademarked or an
mhm,
IP or something, and making some money off of it. If you're an entrepreneur, there you got to be creative. See our last episode. I tell you about of Mudang, I'm assuming.
yeah,
Adorable little pygmy hippo. Um, brilliant, brilliant little guy is everywhere. There are people selling little stuffed animals of Mudang, like all over Etsy. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And I'm like, oh, what a brilliant, like if I'm someone who knows how to make stuffed animals, like I'm just waiting for the next Mudang what is it? I'll start buying up that color of a thing, and next thing you know, adorable. Like I was just brilliant, just a brilliant idea. I love that kind of creativity in entrepreneurship. So,
We just had a
but
baby elephant at the St. Louis Zoo, was born, I think, last week. Jet is this,
okay,
and it's usually some African name, right? To pay homage to,
where they came
or
from,
Asian,
yeah.
like the Asian elephants or whatever. But I was like,
No,
Jet, okay.
yeah, but first off, corporate sponsorship, Boeing.
Yeah,
Gonna
probably.
say it. Just gonna say it. Just gonna throw it out there. I'll bet he's part of the Boeing elephant display.
Yeah,
Our new guy,
Jurassic World.
our
All
new guy, 747. Anyway,
that
the airliner, jetliner, whatever they're calling their new thing. But that's adorable, and I admire anybody who has that kind of creativity when it comes to having a job and figuring out a way to do something new. I love that. I love that. So Christmas shopping on your side, I know for me, I'm about a 50%. I'm at about a 50% done at
Yeah,
this point as
that's
we
what
go
we're
along.
about. Yeah,
You
that's
think
good.
so? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think as we get closer to Christmas, I'm going to have some more questions um, around it. And I'm not ready to dive into what I think is quite possibly, at least for me, this year's biggest Christmas great debate. Maybe in the next episode.
Candy corn? No.
No, no, but we do have a December 13th, December Friday, the 13th coming up. This is a perfect spot for a Nightmare Before Christmas kind of situation, a spooky Christmas vibe. If you're trying to, cross the streams, you know what I mean? When I say cross the streams to you, what comes to mind?
I don't know. I just there's a couple. I immediately think of Harry Potter and Voldemort crossing
Interesting.
their streams.
Interesting.
But
Wow,
then it could also
generational.
be,
That's
well,
the
it could also
first
be
one.
like you want to play swords, and that could be like urine streams as
Oh,
well.
a second. Okay, so not even Ghostbusters, top of the building, cross the streams. We're
Yeah,
fighting.
like
That's
it's
a
in the same
third. That's a
vein as
third
Harry
place.
Potter.
Yes, true. Generationally different. I said in a meeting, we might not want to cross the streams, and I am the eldest on our team. Harry Potter wasn't what they went to. Back to the Future wasn't what they went to. But I got called out for making an inappropriate reference about crossing the streams in a meeting. And it was not inappropriate. So I think this is a generational problem, and everyone should go back to where it started. Watch Ghostbusters, the original movie, and on the top, in order for them to combine the power of the proton packs, they knew to cross the streams. You're not supposed to do it. It's dangerous. I didn't think it was inappropriate now, but apparently generationally we have ruined things like crossing the streams. I would also like to blame whatever rapper turned truffle butter from a delicious treat into a terrible thought.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Every time I order
I-
something with
I'm
truffle,
it tastes delicious.
so good. The food.
Thank you. Important note, very important note. Plant talk. I got to ask you some questions. We showed a little. Now I don't know if we showed it. I know you and I talked about it. You've been doing some like plant propagation in your yard. We talked a little bit about how you had some melons growing out in the yard, right?
Yes.
And I think we both found kind of, and maybe you before me, because you've been doing this with coral and propagating those kind of things and kind of growing nature and the natural kind of thing for a long time. But I've recently, I'm not sure if I've shared it. I may have that. Like I'm showing an interest in biological botany, whatever, harvest, farming, growing nature. I'm interested in that. I want to like study it a bit more. But you've been doing this for a little while now, and as my wife and I have this monstera upstairs, we moved it into the pole. We got a pole. It's climbing up the pole. It's exceeding the pole already. I don't know about propagation, but I know that you have done a little bit of this kind of thing. We like touched on it a little bit. I have a monstera that is very long and is getting way long, but not growing the leaves since we moved it into the new, with the what do you call it, moss pole.
Mhm. Which you're keeping moist, I'm sure.
So I could do a better job of keeping that moist. Is that what I need to do? Because I'm trying to, and it's almost so dry. Everything I see is like, take it outside, spray it with water. Brother, it's 20 degrees outside. I can't do that right now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Take it in the shower, I guess. Am I getting that thing completely wet? Will that cause some of the leaves to grow? Because I know there's like the root on the back end of where the leaf is supposed to sprout, right? Does it need some water there? Is that
The
what's
aerial root, is that what you're talking about?
brother? You tell me. You're educating me
The
at this
the
point.
reason the reason why moss poles are kind of controversial is because of the upkeep that they bring to the table. So, in order for the monstera to, from what I am perceiving and what I've learned,
Mhm.
they think that it's a tree or something of the sort. So, in order for that to trigger them to grab onto that, it has to be moist.
Ah,
The difficulty with that is, a monstera and most tropical plants love a drier soil.
yeah.
So you're in this hard, like, I'm keeping two environments at the same time kind of thing. So, if it hasn't attached too much, you can always replace it with like a trellis, some sort of, or just a wooden stake, and it will do the same thing.
Well, no problem with it attaching. Like I got some twine and I've adjusted it now so that those what did you call them? Dry roots? The
Aerial roots.
aerial roots
Yeah.
are at least now on the pole, on the moss pole, right? And it's tied up all the way. But what I've realized is that it's grown almost like 6-8 inches off the top, just the vine, like more than anything else. And now I need to buy an additional pole to have it keep climbing. But what we want is the foliage to grow, right?
Mhm.
So I wondered if that was the issue. I keep this, and pardon my puns, I'm gonna get through it with a straight face. You already know. I'm gonna keep the pole wet, but I don't want to get down in that dirt, right? Too much. I got to keep the pole wet, but I got to keep the base dry. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I think I give my plants a good soaking probably once every 2 to 3 weeks, where I'll just take it to the sink,
Okay.
douse it with water, let it drain out all the excess water, shake it out a little bit, and then put it
Yep.
back. And then 2 to 3 weeks
Okay.
later.
And that's the root. That's the thing. You don't have a moss pole you're talking about
I
in this one?
don't, not yet,
Okay.
not yet,
Okay.
because I'm going to propagate my monstera, and I think that was the original question here. Was so I what you're describing to me does not sound like a new shoot from the monstera to grow another leaf. It sounds to me like it is an aerial root that has just kind of gone rogue. Those go back down. So the aerial roots will end up going back down into the soil. So if you've ever seen like a true mature monstera, it's like there's hundreds of aerial roots that are going down. It almost looks like a mess of telephone cables just kind of going down. So I'm not sure if that's what you're describing, but if you did want to propagate it, it's super easy to do. You just need clean cutters or a razor blade or something, and go.
Clearly, we're missing a visual aid for you to see what I'm talking about here. So I'm gonna pause right here, and I'm gonna take a picture and send it to you because it's a monstera. Pardon my brutalization of the type.
Monstera esqueleto.
Thank you very much. Yes, very climby, very vine, not much leaf right now. Because it was all kind of when I bought it, all the leaves were right there, like near the pot, right? And
Uh-huh.
in the months since, the two vines have gone out. This is where we realized we should have a pole for it to climb up.
Yeah.
So I put it in there, and I've realized now only vine grow, no leaf.
Mhm.
So this is a good conversation for us to have because I wondered, A, is it so long that I could clip off a little bit at the top there and have that propagate, but I don't want to do it wrong because you don't clip a leaf to propagate, right?
You wouldn't clip it at the leaf. You would follow all the way down the stem and you would find a node, and then you would clip in between the node and the actual like main plant, and then you would take that, shove it in some water,
Hmm.
let the roots go for a little bit, and then you would reintroduce it to soil before it just what do they call it? Before it gets too used to water that it
Sure.
can never grow in soil ever again.
Gotcha. So that's the thin line to walk there. So if you look at that photo that I sent up at the top, you can see like that vine is starting to it almost like I'm gonna be honest, I was turning off the Christmas tree last night and I was like, is it trying to get close to the Christmas tree? Is the light from the tree like pulling the vine that direction? Um, it's got many nodes that I could, I could go down from the top of the vine and cut 2, 3 nodes down or 1 node down. You know what
How
I mean?
often do you water this thing?
Every couple of weeks is what I was told, right? Like we talked about the dry soil here. Like I knew that. I knew that. But
Yeah.
the pole, it's only been in there with the moss pole for about a week and a half, if that. And
Yeah.
so when I watered it, when I transferred it over, I watered it. That was, like I said, a week and a half ago. And that's where we noticed like the vine is going. You know what I mean? Like it's going. But I need to do a better job of moistening the pole on a regular basis. We're getting through it. But that's something I think I need to do. I think, like you've said, I need to, and I've seen, take it outside, put some water on it. I'm just going to take it in the shower
Yeah, that works too.
and let that pole get nice and wet.
Yeah.
That's life advice.
I
I'm very
think
sorry for everyone listening to this.
I think another thing you can do is I would just search this genus species
Mhm.
online and then and put in that like I'm it's vining, but I have no leaves, and the simple solution might just be to cut it back, take each one of those sections, grow new plants,
So that was the
and then
question I had for
see if it'll
you.
go again.
Was should is it too much to propagate like many nodes? Like I've never I have no experience with this. So I'm asking you, and I've done a little bit of searching. Like a lot of what I hear is like you put anything in water and it'll eventually grow. Like I don't think if I cut a leaf off of this thing, it's going to grow a new plant. But I think there's a better way to do it. Like you've mentioned at the node down the vine, that's cool.
Mhm.
But like how much is too much? It's not going to kill it. You're telling me if I go like a couple nodes down and repropagate this bad boy,
I don't think so.
you think then at the cut it will continue to grow out of that? Does it split? I don't know how that
Well,
works.
usually it will develop a new node. I believe at that point where you cut it, and it will grow. It won't grow out of the spot where you cut, but it will grow near the spot where you cut.
It will continue. So let me ask you from that point. We're 1 cut in, we're down a couple nodes. I got a lot of vine. If it starts to grow again, you think I go 2 nodes down, propagate another one just to trim that up? What do you think?
Sure.
So is it real? Am I going to kill this thing?
I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not.
Depending on you.
I'm not super familiar with this species. I mean, I would imagine it's the same as most monstera, but that exactly what I would do in this moment
Mhm.
is I would search your problem on Google.
I mean,
It's
I've done
vining,
that,
but
and I came to you
vining
as I
with
was
no
not
leaves.
satisfied with those findings.
Well, then, I mean, you know all the people at the nursery. Ask
Ah,
them.
dang it.
Show them the
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
know.
can bond over that moment and just be like, I'm doing this. It might just be move it closer to the window. I don't know
Yeah,
what
I
kind
don't
of
know.
proximity it is, or add some supplemental lighting, like grab a grow light bulb off of Amazon and just put it on top and see if that works.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
the
could just
Christmas
be
tree, I
searching,
think, is growing it
you could just
right
be
now.
searching for light. I
Yeah,
don't.
well, everything I've read about it talks about just being in a well-lit, non-direct light room, like and I have done what you're saying. Like, I just didn't know if you would be like, "Bro, everything I've put in water propagates, don't worry about it." You know what I mean? I just need some test cases, and I'm like, I don't I'm not worried about the plant dying. I guess I'm just more scared to do some clipping because honestly, brother, I got 2 vines there, so do I could clip them both, and now my 1 plant just went to 3. And we're going to start a domino effect here. By the end of this thing, Mason and Remy Farms will get founded. And if you need some land, brother, we got some. We're gonna do it. And next thing you know, we're like I said, we're in a homesteading channel, and life is different.
Okay, I have an answer for you on
Really?
Reddit. This is a runner.
Okay. Already, first, just gonna say, this feels like TMZ reporting something right now.
This is
Don't
a
know whether or
runner.
not. Go ahead.
It is growing leafless due to lack of light.
Really?
Yeah. So
It's next to a window, but okay. I feel you. Like the vines were in the light and everything we read about this was like not direct light. So it's right next to a window. But like I said, I feel like the top vine, which you'll see maybe if the image goes in the video, is starting to creep toward the Christmas tree, and our Christmas tree is all white lights. So I only wonder, like, is this thing just dying for it? Okay. Uh,
I'll send you some links after we're done for
okay.
just like you can get these little, maybe you already have them, these little screw in grow lights that have LEDs in them, and you can get just I have Home Depot floodlights on my stuff right now, but you can hang it above it
I
and
do.
just put some extra light on it.
Yeah.
It's very soft light. It's not like you can overdo it, but you won't overdo it with if you just got like one of these things. But that would help because I've got two on all of my plant section, and they're right in front of a window. Now, mind you, this is I believe it is a south facing window, so
Lots of light.
not a lot of light. I mean,
Really?
consistent light, so it's not harsh in the day or the night because the sun just goes over the top, right? So,
Mm.
so it's pretty consistent, but I still have supplemental light, especially in the winter too, because it gets dark earlier
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. So put it on.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I'll look into that. You know what? I'm willing to take any advice, and I might just say, fuck it, we ball. I'm like, click, 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 click.
Yeah, another project. Put them in front
Uh,
of the window, and that'd be cool
so
to see them grow.
I mean, you mentioned like you might have a light. You can get them at Home Depot. I got a whole little room over here where I'm propagating some seeds this coming winter. But yeah, man, yeah, I got some grow lights. You might be able to find some stuff.
There you go.
Yeah. I appreciate that conversation, and weirdly have found a lot of peace and enjoyment from botanicals in different forms over the years. But that's not the conversation we're trying to have here. Now, like we are falling into the plant phase of our life. I think a lot of people come into this point. I don't know how. Maybe it's just over time. You get succulents, and then you get another house plant, and someone gives you an aloe plant. Next thing you know, you're like keeping these alive, and you're like, I'm okay at this. And then
Yeah.
you kill a couple, and it's fine. It's okay. You go through that, but I like this part. It's peaceful and it's nice. It's like watching your kids grow up in
Yeah.
and
My
less intense. Yeah.
I got my first I got the first nice or rare or over $4 plant that I ever got was the white princess philodendron. And I posted a picture and my mom goes, "My grandmother kept philodendrons." And I was like, gosh dang it. Mason was right. We're here. We've
No,
arrived.
brother. What's really weird is I am again a heterosexual male, a very normal, binary, whatever I shouldn't have used the word normal because that's not a thing anymore. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
like an average dude life is what I have lived, and definitely didn't see this one coming. Like I definitely didn't see the gardening and that kind of thing popping out of nowhere. But in the same vein, when my wife had a like work get together, I spent an hour talking to a guy who's part of the committee that judges backyard gardens for the community. Like I was like, brother, let's talk. Like I'm not at that age yet. Never thought I would be, but my grandma and grandpa's had great yards. I always wondered why these old guys care about their grass. It all makes sense.
Yep.
Like it's peaceful at some points. You know what I mean? I don't know about if that's what you get off of it, but like when I'm outside and I'm looking at the plants, it's just like a centering. Like I'm not worried about anything else. I'm just here, and I enjoy that, especially in my stupid chaotic life. Um,
I think for me the part that I like most about it, and I haven't gotten to the spot with plants necessarily yet, but it's the creating more out of a thing, right? So the first time I did this was obviously propagating coral. It and I looked at it as kind of a business, right? So I buy this coral for $200. The
mhm.
coral grows. I cut the coral. I put the coral on a new rock. I sell the coral for $200. I just made my money back. Fish are the same way. Fish spawn, eggs happen.
Cut them, put them on a rock,
You couldn't put them in a rock.
serve
Now
them
I've
for
got
$200 for dinner and a
two of
rest.
my pets, that I've got down here. I grew from eggs, which is
That is cool.
that to me is like the sense of accomplishment. Now with plants, I've taken the coral and fish are probably two of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, you started up there.
Plants seem very easy because you just cut, put in water for the most part. In a lot of cases, you would just put it in water and it would grow roots, and then you would put it in soil, and then you could sell it maybe. A lot less, a lot less profit involved in that. But
Mhm.
I
Or
think
time, right? Yeah.
creating anew, right? Something anew
Mhm.
from living things. It just, that to me is the more rewarding part of all of this, and that's where I find my peace is reproduction. So
Okay, he's a breeder, in many more ways than we're talking about here.
Clay
But just
Walker's also a breeder.
goddamn. I don't even know what we're talking about breeding anymore at this point. But it's no, that's kind of cool. Like I never thought I would enjoy it as much as I do. Why are you shaking your head? What's wrong, buddy?
I'm realizing that you weren't there for that. That was post Mason, where Casey and I were interviewing Clay Walker backstage at Ballpark Village, and
Ugh.
he is like,
I
he's
just
made,
you saying that made me go ugh because I
yeah,
already know. I already
he's made a couple songs that people appreciate, I think, but
yeah, sure.
he's one of those guys that has, played stadiums, but is now playing Ballpark Village,
Mhm.
which, holds 1,000 people. But I think on that night, maybe 600 came. But he, in the interview, said, "I am a breeder," as as he is, I believe. Let me search his
Does he
age.
believe himself a
Clay
thoroughbred
Walker
horse of
age.
sorts,
Yes,
perhaps?
he
I
is
had yeah, and I think a lot of these
55
guys
years
probably
old.
do. Yeah.
He is
65?
55 years
Okay,
old,
well,
and
either way,
he
still
has a
not a
music
breeder
band.
anymore, I'm gonna say, my
Nope,
brother.
he is. He is still producing children.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hey,
His
look,
wife
if
is,
you
younger.
find something that you're good at and lean into it, I
Mm.
guess. Um,
Anyways,
you
sorry, off track. Apologies.
That's okay. That's all right. Like just the thought of interviewing an artist that, and no offense to anybody, like you said, once played stadiums and is now not playing stadiums, like that was almost 80% of the interviews that we had to do during our time there. And it was not super fun to try and make those super fun. When the
Mm.
most important or notable thing that comes out of it is that he's a breeder. But also in that moment, it gives me the this is so weird that it might work vibe. You know what I mean? Like it. Let's roll with it. And if I were you and Casey in that moment, I would have yelled, "I'm a breeder" at different moments as well. So kudos to you. Um, I get it.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
never the enjoyment for me from the growing of things. I'm sorry if you had another note about
Nope.
Clay Walker's breeding, we can come back to it.
Mm.
But for me, it's actually like I haven't fully experienced it, but it's like feeding the fam. Like we went to a restaurant when we went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Chef Simon, I can't remember his last name right now. Simon's maybe it's his last name. Is a restaurant in Cleveland, and it was delicious. We had the best fries ever. They were rosemary Parmesan garlic fries,
Mm.
and I am growing garlic and rosemary, and the Parmesan plant hasn't sprouted yet, but I'm working on it. No, but like the coolest thing that I think for me is to go, what are we doing for dinner tonight? Well, let's have those fries again. And we get the fries and I go outside and I clip off some sprigs of rosemary. And we're crushing up garlic. And I never thought I was someone who cooks or like wants to be fancy that I need rosemary, but I built an entire circular raised garden bed out back so I can have all the herbs. All the herbs. I mean, dill, basil, rosemary, thyme. Like I am mapping it out like a clock. It's gonna be like pieces of pie that are different. And in the middle, something else growing up. I got a canopy for it. I love that for some reason. Now I'm like, how can I grow potatoes? We be eating too many potatoes. And it seems pretty like I'm seeing a lot of success. First off, videos from China of people growing in styrofoam containers. What's happening in China?
Mm.
But also people who are growing them out of those like Pyrex, you know what I mean? Those plastic containers that we have a bunch of in the basement. Like now that I'm going through all those, I have a bunch of those. Maybe I could grow potatoes
Mhm.
and I could make chips. I could make fries. And now I'm like literally leaning into this. What am I doing? Am I tired of paying for the expensive price of groceries? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I am. But I also like just being able to go outside and get something that we need instead of having to pay a couple bucks to buy something, you know?
Yeah, that's rewarding for sure.
And we made pickles last year with our cucumbers. I was growing squash. Cherry tomatoes were bountiful. Now I'm going to grow beefsteak, regular, and cherry tomatoes. I'm going to do, I'm laying it all out now so that come spring, boy, we're in there. Like
Yeah.
this entire next 3 months is me warming up for spring. Never thought I'd be this guy who in December is like, can't wait for growing season.
Yeah.
But I know like come February, I'm going to be propagating seeds to get out there in like May or something like that. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. And I thought I could ask Remy because I know that you've been propagating things for a long time. I understand that both you and Clay Walker now are breeders. So noted. You know,
Hell yes.
if you're looking, I can only imagine what that conversation was like, and that I would have wanted to rip my eyelashes off the entire time.
And then I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 weeks after that, there's leaked audio of him yelling at his bus driver saying, I'm Clay Walker, I'm this and that. And I was like, oh gosh, it all is just so real.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't matter if you're Clay Walker or Zach Bryan, dude. These artists get lifted up into a place where they think they're above something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because I think it's about the money, because there's people who are going, we can make so much money off of this guy. Just tell him he's great. You know what I mean? Tell him he's great. He'll make more stuff. Doesn't matter. And we can make so much money off of it. And then years down the line, he's going, I'm a breeder. Don't you know who I am? I don't know why my home life is messed up. It doesn't make sense to me. It feels like child stars too, you know?
Yeah. I'm glad that I'm out. So
I'm happy for you too. I think about that a little bit, sometimes while we're doing this and while we're talking about it, whether or not we're doing ourselves any favors with the things that we're sharing here. I'm sure there are many people. Yeah, I'm of that. We're past that point, and I hope that if anything, people can learn a little something from this and adjust accordingly. I may have mentioned this in a previous episode, but somebody said, "Are you a good visual learner?" I said, "I am a good learner of other people's mistakes." I spent my entire life growing up watching my brother trip and fall over things and going, not going to do that. And I'm watching myself make all these efforts in these 25 years in radio that don't matter now, and going, I hope someone can learn from that. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm trying to share these stories. I hope there's someone down the chain looking ahead to go, I hope I'm making the right decisions. It's hard to think about that in the moments where you're like pushing hard to be somebody or do something that you think matters. That's the hard part to get. You think it matters.
Mm-hmm.
Wait until that reality gets you. We'll see you. Let's get into the big topic today. Because this is something I know we have to talk about for years, decade plus, probably his whole life. This guy over here has been talking about aliens and how he believes. And I have been avoiding it and laughing at it. And this is a big moment. Never thought I'd say this, buddy, but I'm sorry for doubting all of that. And I am now not sure how to feel seeing the hearings where many of America's top, I don't know, people who sit at desks. Who are these guys? I'm not sure, but maybe you have some notes on who they are. I watched all these guys sit in a hearing and talk about UFOs. You may hear them referred to as UAPs. Why the rebrand? Unnecessary. We all know what a UFO is. Don't confuse us and give us a new abbreviation. Make us think that we forgot about aliens. It seems like that's what's happening to me. They're like, let's not call them UFOs. That's too scary. UAPs is also scary. What do they call? Do they say unidentified aerial phenomenon?
Anomalous.
What is it?
Anomalous.
Unidentified anomalous
Phenomena. Yeah.
phenomenon. Okay, that's what
They
UAP stands.
they had to make the words harder.
Right. Guys, hey guys, too many people know what a UFO is. We got to make it harder to say, harder to know.
It's a thing that is flying and we don't know what it is.
And there are, if I'm looking at my numbers, my notes say Mason begged for forgiveness. 1,600 pieces of evidence that they have been reviewing.
Yes.
Just recently. Like that is 1,600 unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
Yes.
Or unidentified flying objects, depending on what area you are. Okay, boomer.
So the anomalous part is what changed because and a lot of this testimony that was happening on Capitol Hill was about ocean UFOs or
Oh, brother.
UAPs.
Okay.
Um, they were saying that testimony highlighted instances where UAPs were observed entering and emerging from water, such as the USS Omaha incident off the California coast,
Mm.
and that furthers speculation about potential underwater bases or advanced technologies deep in the ocean. There are
Oh,
a lot of spots in the ocean that we have not been able to explore, and so that just fuels this, like, what if
yep.
even more, you know?
I honestly, I must have missed that part of the story because one of my questions and one of my notes that I had was I more believe that there is stuff underwater that we don't know about more than I do out in space. Like
Mhm.
space, much more vast. I get it. Like, but in space, there are so many more places to go. Are we the pinnacle? I mean, that seems unlikely, but I think that we have not seen what's in the ocean. And I think it makes a bunch of sense for things to be happening down there that we don't have eyes on. Um, and I wondered if that was more realistic than up there. You know what maybe not, maybe not. Probability to me, much larger up there, much more possibility at things being out there alive. But I do think that there is a lot under the water that we don't know and don't see. I was just looking up just to see who these people were. Retired Major David Grush, um, who went from being part of the Pentagon's task force, the UAB, to becoming a whistleblower. I didn't realize these guys were whistleblowing.
Mhm. Yeah, there's like military officials, researchers, science from the people from the science community. I think my biggest gripe with this whole thing, and I said this in the last episode, is show us
Mhm.
the things you are talking about. You are saying that this maybe not classified anymore, but you are saying that these things exist. Biologics, you know, any kind of flying devices, apparatus, whatever. It exists. We have it. Show us. I would love to see that.
Yep. The
Um,
the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the UAP program talked to it are currently still on the program says that the US retrieved non-human biological matter.
mhm.
So what? Like a foot?
It could be. It could be.
A plant?
See, that's the thing is, I think that people immediately go to gray aliens, right? Big head, scrawny body, that kind of thing. But this legit could be some sort of substance, a slimy substance that contains
Single-celled organism, an amoeba,
contains
anything.
bacteria, or it's considered to be biological
Right.
and could be alive or once was alive. Non-human biologics is a very large category of things.
It feels like updating my resume and saying I was a petroleum distribution engineer when I pumped gas.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's a lot of that happening. Yeah.
I could say it's a non-human biological matter, but that is a very, like you said, a wide open space. So what is it? Show us. Is it microscopic? Is it venom? Are we gonna die? I think that's the biggest, like, fear from anybody. I definitely I do not trust anybody. Sadly, I'd want to say just in our country, just because I don't know about other countries, but I do not trust anybody in our country to react positively to an alien approach.
Mhm.
I do not expect uh boy, this is a weird comparison. Rural folks who are like, I got a shotgun, I'm protecting my property, and undiscovered tribes in forests would both just shoot at the sky, right? I feel like we would all just start shooting at the sky regardless. And if I had it and they are above me, I might start too. Um, but I don't think that they would be welcomed with open arms, maybe by you, maybe by me, but maybe not the aerial defense systems of a nation. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that would be like, but I just don't trust people in charge to make whatever decision that might be because it's likely they probably already did and they already shot it down, so they already know. You know what I'm saying? Like that should probably happen 100 years ago when they were like, "We got missiles. There's things in the air. Shoot it down." But watching this on C-SPAN is what blew my mind. So these folks are stepping out of the shadows basically breaking the rules, blowing the whistle on what? Like, do they think we should be telling more people about this? I don't know.
I think so. I mean, the argument is that I think it because it's essential to understand the potential threats of technological advancements and what can we do. I just feel like there's a limited number of people that have access to this information. If we make this information accessible to most people, that comes with a lot of cons as well, but it also comes with a lot more ideas on what this could be, how we could solve, how we could touch base with, how, what kind of I don't
Are
know
we
if
testing
it's
the
like
waters on what people might think? What do you guys think? This is what we know. Should we be cool or should we shoot them?
yeah, well, the ramifications of actually saying there are, because there's the whole
Mhm.
idea that there are hybrids that are living among us.
Oh boy.
Elon Musk being one of them.
I
Uh,
haven't even said conspiracy corner yet.
that's true. Um, but I just think that there's so much that we don't know, and people are yearning for answers and just want some sort of tangible something to grasp onto. Because I think over the past 10 years, we've had all of these amazing discoveries in space. The James Webb telescope showing us billions of Milky Way galaxies,
Mhm.
and we're only a speck in this Milky Way galaxy.
Right.
Imagine just if we had the device to let us travel in space at light, multi light years.
Yeah, I was gonna say even light speed's not fast enough
Not.
for us to get somewhere within a decent amount of time, with how long it takes for light to get from the sun to Earth. Like, I know
Mhm.
you're like, "Light speed, that's super fast." Not anymore.
Mm.
That's why they went warp speed in Star Trek, because people put time and thought into this, and light speed's not that fast,
Yeah.
but there is so much impact on a species. And I watched Star Trek, and I watched when they talked about first contact and when the Vulcans landed and what how people reacted and how there were some who were like, "Hey, welcome to our alien friends." And people used to go, "You guys are nuts." In the end, those folks were the ones that were like meeting them and going, "Hey, we accept you." And the folks who didn't, well, it didn't go well for them.
Mhm.
But it's just interesting. Are you ready for it? Are you ready if they landed in a couple of days?
I
What are you
mean,
doing? Are
I
you going to work the next day?
I think about this kind of stuff, this like world ending kind of stuff every once in a
Oh,
while, and
immediately world ending and
it
not we
doesn't
bring
have
you
to be,
peace and technology.
but I think that this could, I mean, that could very well be how people view it. But
I think so too.
there's inevitable things that, I mean, I watched Don't Look Up the other day again because it's one of my favorite movies, and it's such a reflection on this world that we live in right now. Like there is a literal asteroid about to hit Earth, and people are saying, "Nah, that's not real. That doesn't exist. Don't look up." Okay, but I think that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about that, right? So you can at least go down knowing that there's nothing that you could do. But I think there's another likely story here, and that could be why these guys are coming out, these guys and girls of the UAP programs and whatnot, is because there potentially could be, and this is in the conspiracy world,
Ooh.
that there is a sect of people in government or not that actually have technology they are testing, and they have been caught testing this technology that is not, could be Russia, could be China, could be us, but that's a more likely story of it being more of an earthly thing as opposed to visitors from whatever else galaxy or other planet, is that we actually have some sort of projection technology, so it might not even be a real thing.
Mm,
What's it called?
a holographic kind of
Planet Blue or Blue Project or something. I see this conspiracy all the time
blue
thrown out
sky.
on Blue Sky, or maybe, but it's about projection. It's not a real thing,
Mm,
so they can project whatever. But then I also go back to what I mentioned last time is Salem, the guy I work with, his girlfriend's dad works in air traffic control at Denver Airport.
right.
They see anomalies every day, every day. but nobody talks about it. Where do you report that?
And it's hard to define anomaly too. And if you're looking at radar, does it just show an object? What is that? That's technically unidentified. Where does the box
Exactly.
check for you for someone?
Immediately,
But
people go to aliens, the other extraterrestrial life forms, but there are
mhm,
so many other variables that could be at play here. Do I
could be a
think
flock of
there
birds.
Yeah. Do I think that there are life is there other life out there? Hell yes. There's no way there couldn't be, given what we're seeing, unless it's a giant projection of something from
Mm,
these amazing telescopes, Hubble
true.
and James Webb and all these guys that are out exploring the solar system and beyond.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And I posed this question to my son the other day. I was like, "Do you think that there's um, life out there?" And we had to his mind is only seeing our solar system, right? And once I brought it into light that there were more solar systems, more galaxies, and he said, "Oh, there probably could be." I was like, "Okay, you know,
Makes sense. Yeah.
it does make sense." So
Well, the definition of life as well is very broad, right? Like that
yeah.
could be a single-celled organism, or it could be a whole ecosystem and a planet, or it could be, I don't know, flying seven-armed tarantulas from Venus. There's a lot of possibilities. Your creativity is possibly the limit at this point, but also you've been believing for a long time. And I think it's fair, like logically, realistically, yeah, fair that we may not be the only living things I mean, we aren't. There are trees, there are animals, there are several things. Whether or not it survived on a planet that had enough heat to keep things going around a sun that had an atmosphere, those are all scientific questions. Or does it even need that? Are we thinking outside the box of things that can breathe in space
Hmm.
or a sentient thing that isn't even living? There's a lot of creativity that could go into what's out there. And we've seen a lot of that, mostly in the sci-fi genre. If they are hostile, what is the first thing you're doing? If we get the notification, aliens are landing and they are blasting, what are you doing?
Again, we're done.
So what are you doing? Yeah,
They
yeah. We're done. What are you doing though?
what are you gonna win this war?
Okay, so
You
you're
know?
not picking up a gun and fighting back.
I mean, maybe for just for the
Are
fun
you
of
defending your
shooting a gun,
homestead? are you
like,
are you bunkering
shooting
down? What are
at
you doing?
something that's not a target. I don't know. But I don't see like I don't know. You always think about so at the end of Don't Look Up, there's the one guy, the president's son that's still living on the planet, and everything is in ruins. There's like nothing left, right? So where's the quality of life in that? Where you're being run by aliens at this point. So I don't know. Maybe I'd shoot back, but I don't know that I'd have much hope.
That's so
If
my
they're hostile and they
my
got to our planet from another planet. Like,
yeah.
you guys win. You did
Yeah,
it.
well,
You
and then the
did
question
it.
is like, are they here to enslave us and put us to work, or are they going to let us keep on going? Right? I don't know. I guess we'll figure that out. We'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see. Do we still get to broadcast news? Will they tell us, or am I just looking out the front door and waiting for the smoke and the fire? What's going to happen? That's one side of it, but then you got the other side. Maybe they show up. Maybe they speak. Maybe they can communicate and go, "Hey, we've been watching. You know, we
We
want to
like
help
what you
you.
we really like what you've been doing.
Hey, we saw this cancer thing has been giving you some trouble. Check it out."
No, that'd be good.
Gone, gone, right? Like, what about that? Boom, suddenly alien technology, now we're in another place. Are we
So,
into a new, golden age? Are we gonna start replicating as humans and then just filling up? Because we have, I would assume if an alien is coming to talk to us, they've got some kind of resolution for a lot of our ailments. I would hope. I would
yeah.
hope so.
The government would probably put a stop to that because then Pfizer would stop making money.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's right, that's right. So
No.
now you understand why I don't trust the government to not shoot first and then freeze after the shot, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Not like that happens every day on our streets. Sorry to point it out, like, but it happens. I just think that it would happen on a much larger universal scale. Are we gonna call up Russia and go, "Hey, we got ships coming in. Do you guys wanna, what questions do you wanna ask them before I load the big gun?"
Yeah, because
I doubt that that's the conversation.
yeah, other countries would probably be very trigger happy against that for sure.
And if they're underwater, let's just drop a toaster in it. You know what I'm saying? No, it's not gonna work either. I don't know how to do that, but I know I listen, I know, you've got a heart out for this episode, and I know you gotta bump, off to do some things, so I wanna wrap it up at this and say we may be talking about this again in a future episode, because this is literally, I never thought I'd say this. This is literally an ongoing topic, that there are things out there and we are finding out more about it. Personally, I think these guys start blowing the whistle. We all become more comfortable with it. Slowly and surely we get more information about it so that it doesn't freak us out, because I think we as humans are not ready for that. We're not ready. Just seeing the way that our nation functions on a daily basis, not just our nation, but our planet, humans as a whole. I just don't know if we're ready to welcome. We barely welcome humans, right? We
True.
really think we're going to be like, oh, come on to our planet. This will be great. Someone's going to say they're stealing our jobs in the first 5 minutes. I just foresee it. I don't know what else to say.
But I will leave you on another somewhat conspiracy or theory, in that oil is sentient.
Oil is sentient?
This is a theory.
This is a theory. If oil is sentient, we have been burning pieces of it for our own transportation, and it is mad. Perhaps in our next episode.
Yes.
My God, oil is alive.
But think about how much of the world is manipulated by oil.
I mean, if you mean metaphorically sentient, then yeah, there's a whole business. Like,
No, I mean actually sentient.
I actually like the idea of a Venom-like sentient oil thing in a suit somewhere controlling the price of gas. No, I must be $72 a barrel.
You walk into this great hall of just dripping drops of oil, and
it's all fluid. It's all him, right? Like it's watching you the second you walk into the palace. This is a storyline in Marvel Comics. The symbiote that controls Venom and all of that. Like that's a whole like real thing. And now I'm like, damn, is Venom oil? There are many parallels we could draw.
Yeah.
Perhaps in a future episode. Hey, I appreciate the time today. I know we want to talk more about stuff. I have the greatest Christmas great debate to get to in the coming weeks, but there's plenty of time for Christmas. Let's give it some time. I want to talk about a few other things too before we get to the end of the year. So we'll see you in the next episode. And maybe we'll talk more about this, because developing story in the world, aliens appear to be real. We'll talk about it coming up more. We appreciate you watching. Please, if you have not yet, follow us on all the platforms. You can find our social media in the links down below, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, or you can watch on YouTube. Appreciate it if you made it this far. Would love it if you dropped a thumbs up or a subscription. It's free. We're not charging anything over here. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.
Yep. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.